Today we are going to be ranking MMA fighters based on who I would like to have next to me in a street fight. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's get into the tier list for today. There's nothing to really talk about with the intro over here, although I am a little bit under the weather. Don't know if you can hear me deep breathing just like I have been with my allergies all summer, but regardless, let's get started. Guys, Nate Diaz. Now, I feel like this is a little bit of an unpopular take, but I don't actually really want Nate Diaz with me in a street fight. I think that he would just be like, hold up. And then he wouldn't really do much else. Like, if this was a young Nate Diaz, then maybe, but he lacks the power. He's slow nowadays. I wouldn't want Nate Diaz with me, but I don't think he'd be useless. So I'm going to throw Nate Diaz into the C tier. You know what, guys? I'm also going to add an F tier down here. Messed it up there, excuse me. So we're going to add a new one that's going to make it blue. Oh, and that was already... hang on. Add row below. There we go. There we go. We're going to make this a big F, and then we're going to change the color to, like, blue or something like that. That works out. Okay. Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez, man. And I don't know. We can't... I don't think Diego Sanchez would really be too much help at this state in his life, you know? I'm actually going to throw him over to the D tier. Jamal Hill wouldn't be too bad. I feel like Jamal Hill wouldn't hesitate to start throwing hands, and he's a nice, big, powerful guy. I'm going to put Jamal Hill into the A tier, and I might move these guys around as the tier list continues on. Aljamain Sterling doesn't really have the hands, all the BJJ, but the problem is if we're getting into like a street fight, I'm thinking like the kind of scenario that I'm thinking of is like somewhere at a bar where there's like a lot of people, some kind of brawl breaks out, and then you have some guy to have your back against like maybe 3-4 people. That's kind of where I'm gauging this, and I wouldn't want Aljamain Sterling for that reason, so I'm going to put him into the D tier. Alexander Rakic, though, is a guy that I definitely want by my side. Big, powerful man with perfect technique, dude. This guy's going straight into the S tier. I hope that he wins this weekend, too, by the way. Let's hope for the best. Alexa Grasso, she's not going to do much. F tier for Alexa Grasso. Volk is an interesting one. Small guy, but still carries all the power, all the technique. I'm not, like, definitely don't want to get into, like, being one of those impression channels because I can't do it. But he's like, that's it. I've seen enough. You're done. And then he just knocks everybody out. That'd be funny. I'm going to put Volk into the A tier behind Jamal Hill because I'm thinking that I want a little bit mass with everybody, right? Like Rakic and Hill, they have some nice, good mass to them. I think that's important if you're taking on multiple people. Speaking of mass, Alexander Volkov. I absolutely want Alexander Volkov by my side. I'm going to put him right behind Alexander Rakic and Overeem. Ooh, that's a tough one. The only problem is Overeem can't get clipped. Like, I'm thinking if somebody sucker punches Overeem, is his lights going to go out? Are his lights going to go out? I don't know. Because, like, does he actually have a glass chin in general? Or is it at a UFC level power glass chin? You know what I'm talking about? For that reason, I couldn't risk it because my life would be on the line in some sort of street fight. I'm going to put Alistair Overeem into the B tier. Amanda Nunes, I'm good. Top of F tier. We're going to put her down there. Same with Amanda Lemos, F tier. Amanda Hebas, why are they all grouped in together? F tier. Andre Arlovsky, though. Arlovsky would be good. And I'm talking about these fighters present day. I'm not talking about these fighters in their prime or anything, though. Arlovsky could still pack a punch. A little bit slower now. I'm going to put him into the B tier. I'm going to put him right behind Overeem. Now, is this Andre Petrosky? I'm almost sure that's Andre Petrosky. But regardless, we're going to put Andre Petrosky. Yeah, that's Andre Petrosky. I don't know. Something about the picture is throwing me off a little bit. He wouldn't be too bad. I'm going to put him in the C tier. I'm going to put him in the B tier. Bottom of B tier. I would need Rumble Johnson in a street fight next to me, dude. Dude, could you imagine having Rumble Johnson with you? He'd just be like, boom, boom, boom. Everybody's lights out are in there. He's going to the top of S tier. Is there anybody that would be better in a street fight than Rumble Johnson? I don't know. Anthony Pettis would be pretty good. Little bit aged as of this point now. But then again, I just realized, like, I don't mean to make a dark joke, but as fighters as they are right now, Rumble Johnson's not with us anymore. You know, I don't mean to make a joke like that, but okay, Rumble Johnson's the only exception. We're going to have him as he passed, okay? Anthony Pettis, on the other hand. A little bit of a smaller guy. He would definitely be a dog. And it's important to note, guys, like all of these guys, like even Diego Sanchez, even Aljamain Sterling, they would be absolute dogs. I'm like comparing all of these fighters together. That's where I'm coming from in this sense. Anthony Smith, I don't know. I don't feel like Anthony Smith would be all like, yeah, and then again, he did defend his family, right? Fighting for my family. You're attacking my family. What if he considered me his family? Maybe he would like go ultra mode, you know? I'm going to put Anthony Smith at the top of B tier. from that story, the people breaking in his house, I'm putting him up there. Anthony Hernandez, this would be an interesting one because I feel like he could take a lot of punishment, like people throwing things at him too, and he would just like have no problem eating it and then one by one taking on everybody in the place. That's kind of how I'm thinking about Anthony Hernandez. I'm going to put him in the B tier as well. I'm going to put him behind in front of Andre Arlovsky. Benoit Saint Denis, we have questions about now because we kind of question his durability. That's tough. I can't really, I'd have to judge him off of his last couple performances, right? Hasn't looked so good. Benoit's got to go into the C tier for now, okay? Benoit's got to go into the C tier. Bo Nickel, I need to see more striking from. The wrestling in BJJ won't really work when there's a ton of people around stomping your face in. So Bo Nickel, unfortunately, is going to go into the D tier. Guys, this one's a little bit more of a gut feeling, but I feel like Kyle Braujo would be sick to have by your side. I feel like he would be awesome to have by your side. He'd protect you. The guy's big. The guy's powerful. The guy has 5 rounds cardio. The guy's power. I'm putting Kyle Braujo into the A tier. I'm putting him right behind Jamal Hill. Brandon Moreno, unfortunately, doesn't really have the size. I'm going to put Brandon Moreno. I'm going to put him at the top of D tier. Brandon Royval, okay. I know I just put Brandon Moreno in the D tier for his size, but I feel like Brandon Royval is just that much of a dog that he'd be good to have by your side. You know, I feel like he would just have no problem, and he'd have no issue squaring up and as somebody 5 times the size of him and doing his very best, you know? I'm going to put Brandon Royval actually into the bottom of B tier, okay? Brian Ortega, I actually kind of have the same feeling with. I feel like no matter what, he'd be down to fight anybody. Anybody in the street. Doesn't matter who. I feel like Brian Ortega would have your back, no problem. Does need a little bit of work in the striking department, though. I'm going to put Brian Ortega at the top of C tier. Matt Brown, super tough. I would love to have him by my side. The dude's still got power. He's got elbows from hell. Matt Brown's going to the bottom of A tier, okay? Not in S tier. Bottom of A tier. Okay. All right. I'm ready to hear people's opinions on all of this, by the way, guys. Brian Battle, okay? Guys, a little bit of a gut feeling for a lot of these, okay? But I'm putting Brian Battle over into the S tier. I feel like he would just be perfect. Now, Paddy Pimblett, I don't know, man. He's a good fighter. He's a good guy. But I feel like he could scrap here and there. Well, he definitely can scrap. I'm trying to think of it. I don't want to be disrespectful when I'm talking about these fighters, right? Because, again, I'm comparing them to each other. Obviously, all of these people can scrap. I'm just thinking, compare the scrappiness, okay? I'm going to put Paddy Pimblett at the bottom of a D tier, okay? Cain Velasquez. Ooh, I would definitely want Cain Velasquez by my side. Definitely. I know he's a little bit older now. So I'm going to put him at the top of B tier. That's where I'm throwing Cain at. Calvin Kattar, I feel like low-key would be great to have in a street fight. I'm going to put him in the A tier. I'm going to put him right in front of Matt Brown, okay? Carlos Esparza. Yeah, probably the bottom of F tier. Carlos Condit. I feel like if he was younger, he'd be a lot better. But as of right now, Carlos Condit's probably going to go in the C tier, right behind Brian Ortega. CJ Vergara, little too small. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to put him into the D tier right behind Brandon Moreno. Charles Jourdain is an interesting one. I'm going to put him in front of Brian Ortega up there, okay? Charles Oliveira. Ooh, this is a toughie. This is a little bit of a toughie, guys. Where am I going to throw Charles Oliveira? I feel like he'd be really, really good taking on a bunch of people in a street fight. No matter what. He'd have the Muay Thai skill. He'd have no problem just charging people. I'm going to put Charles Oliveira into the B tier as well. I'm going to put him right behind Anthony Smith. Clay Guida, Cody Garbrandt, both of them too small, unfortunately, but I think Clay Guida do a better job. So I'm going to put Clay Guida at the bottom of C tier. Cody Garbrandt, D tier. Glass chin too, but he does have the power. That definitely helps a little bit. But I'm going to put Cody Garbrandt right in ahead of Brandon Moreno. Colby Covington, I know everybody's going to just make the joke about him just calling the cops no matter what. I get that, but unfortunately, it's difficult to defend Colby Covington as a Colby Covington fan these days, man. Because I feel like that's definitely what he do. I feel like he would engage, which, to be honest with you, is a smart thing to do, is to not engage. I hate to say it, Colby Covington, he's going to have to go into the D tier. I'm going to put him at the top of D tier, though. Cub Swanson, I feel like he'd be good. He'd have no problem scrapping, right? He'd have no problem defending. I'm going to put them atop of C tier, okay? Curtis Blades. Would Curtis Blades want to? I don't know. No matter what, though, Curtis Blades a big, imposing figure. He'd have no problem, like, taking care of a lot of people, right? I'm going to put him in the bottom of A tier, okay? No, I'm going to put him in front of Matt Brown. That's where I'm going to put Curtis Blades, okay? Dan Hooker would be solid to have. I feel like he would take on everybody. Kind of like the same energy as Brian Battle has. No doubt about my mind. Dan Hooker's going to the S tier. A little bit more of the same energy for Dan Ige, though, to be honest with you. Dan Ige, he needs to be a little bit bigger. That's my issue with him. But Dan Ige can scrap. Dan Ige would have no issue doing it. Dan Ige can take on anybody pretty well anytime, anywhere. Dan Ige is going to go into the B tier. I'm going to put him actually ahead of Cain Velasquez, okay? Figueiredo, he definitely has the power. The problem is a little bit small, right? We're going to have to throw him into the C tier. I'm going to put him right behind Brian Ortega, okay? Derek Lewis would be great, but the problem is he would gas out in absolutely no time. So Derek Lewis, no thank you. Derek Lewis wouldn't even want to, actually, now that I think about it. Derek Lewis is going to the D tier. Would be better than Colby Covington. D tier. Diana Belbita, no. We're going to put him right behind Amanda Lemos. No, I'm going to put her behind Amanda Hebos there. Diego Lopez would be sick. I don't know much about Diego Lopez's, like, personality. Would he, like, be down to help me out in a street fight? I don't know. I don't know. But Diego Lopez is a solid fighter. I'm going to put him in the C tier. I'm going to put him ahead of Cub Swanson. That's what I'm going to throw Diego Lopez at, okay? We're going to switch Cub Swanson back over there. Drew Dober. I know there's a lot of jokes we can make about Drew Dober, but I do love Drew Dober. Drew Dober is one of my favorite fighters, okay? Drew Dober. Would he be down? I don't know. Probably. Probably. I'm actually going to put Drew Dober behind Anthony Smith. Dominic Cruz. I feel like Dominic Cruz... I always think about that clip. You ever hear that Bisping talk about Cruz in that one clip where he's like, well, go ahead, hit me, Bisping. Hit me, Bisping. I swear, I will not... I'll be gone and hit you 20 times before you even think about attacking me. That's how quick I am, Bisping. Cruz has got that snarkiness to him. Cruz is going to want to battle. Cruz might be that elusive. Huh. I'm going to put him in the C tier. Top of C tier, ahead of Diego Lopez. Dominic Reyes, big guy, powerful guy, technical. I need Dominic Reyes. He's going at the bottom of A tier, okay? Cowboy Cerrone would also be great. I feel like, actually, these three all together, oh my god. Yeah, that's a team, all right. Actually, can you put all three of these guys into the S? I think I will. I think I will. Eddie Alvarez, better than Dustin Poirier and Donald Cerrone for scrapping. That's where I'm going to throw Eddie Alvarez. I'm going to put him right ahead of Brian Battle. I'm going to put Cowboy Cerrone also ahead of them. And Dustin Poirier also ahead of them. I'm going to put Eddie, then Cowboy, then Poirier. That's where I'm going to throw those brawlers, all of them, into the S tier, though. 100%, okay? Edson Barboza, unfortunately, past his prime. He needs his range to work. With all the people coming at him, the pressure would really get to him. So Edson Barboza, unfortunately, is going to have to go into the D tier. I'm going to put him ahead of Derek Lewis. Tony Ferguson, more of the same, man. He's slow, and I feel like the average person might be able to beat up Tony Ferguson at this point, man. He can't take any punishment anymore. He's not the same fighter that he once was. He's delusional. I hate to say it. Tony Ferguson, D tier, man. D tier. Francis Ngannou, I mean, who else would you want? Who else would you want? With the power that he possesses? Oh my god, could you imagine? He'd be enough to just scare people off. Now, here's the thing. Do I want the death touch of Rumble, or do I want the scariness along with the power of Francis Ngannou? I think I want the death touch of Rumble. So I'm going to put Francis Ngannou in second. Frank Mir, older now, can scrap, has the BJJ. I'm going to put Frank Mir at the bottom of C tier over here, okay? Shamil Gaziev, can't do the cardio. You're going over there with Derek Lewis, Shamil. You're going over there with Derek Lewis. Except you might be a little bit more useful than Derek Lewis, okay? Gilbert Melendez. Again, a little bit older. A little bit older. I don't know what I'm going to do with Gilbert Melendez. He'd be all right. I feel like he'd be down to scrap. I'm going to put him in the C tier. I'm going to put him right behind Charles Jourdain. Gregory Rodriguez, I feel like, could be solid. He'd be going in there, just bombing away. I'd be okay with Gregory Rodriguez on my side. Gregory Rodriguez is going to go right in front of Paddy Pimblett. Dan Henderson, old now, way too old at this point in his career. The H-bomb would have been devastating back in the day, but Dan Henderson, I feel like he's a little bit too old now, so I'm going to put him in the D tier, right behind Edson Barboza. Triple C, unfortunately too small. What can you do, man? I'm a big Henry Cejudo fan, but he's too small. He's too small. He relies on the wrestling, relies on the karate stance. I can't. He's going to have to go into the D tier. I'm going to put him right behind Edson Barboza, okay? Max Holloway. I don't know how Max would do in like some sort of like street environment with a lot of people around. I don't know how Max Holloway would really do. Would he point to the center of the cage or just point to the center of the bar and just like have everybody have everybody start swinging? I don't know. I'm more inclined to believe that Max Holloway would do better than I think he wouldn't. So I want to put Max Holloway at the bottom of B tier, okay? Aylin Perez, I'm good, man. No. You can go behind Amanda Hebas. Cyril Gahn. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful. I feel like you wouldn't care all that much, you know? I feel like you wouldn't care all that much. Cyril Gahn, I'm going to put in the B tier, actually. I'm going to put him at the top of B tier. He's still a big, powerful guy that I'm allowed to have. Mark Hunt, I don't know how old Mark Hunt is, but I wonder if he still has his death touch, kind of like Rumble has. Unfortunately, though, I can't rely on Mark Hunt. I'm going to put him over into the C tier. I'm going to put him behind Brian Ortega. Anderson Silva, too slow, old now. I'm good, man. And I know that I'm going to get the comments like disrespecting the GOAT or something along those lines, but he's too old now. I can't have him. Anderson Silva is going to go at the bottom of C tier. John Jones is somebody that I'd want by my side, but then again, he just... Is John Jones just going to beat up the girls? You can have all of these guys just swinging around, John Jones just finding some women. Could you imagine? Sorry. I'm still a little under the weather, guys. I can't laugh. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But assuming that John Jones focuses on the task, he's not too drunk, I'd want John Jones with me 100%, okay? John Jones is going to go right behind Rumble Johnson. Islam Makhachev. Solid striker. I feel like he'd have your back. I'm thinking of that Habib brawl. He'd have no problem staying by your side. He'd do a good job. I'm going to put Islam Makhachev, actually. I'm going to put him in the A tier. Bottom of A tier. Jack Della Maddalena. I feel like just with his hands, the crisp boxing and power that dude possesses, he'd be great to have by your side when there's a lot of people around. Quick hands, fast hands is his best work. I'm going to put Jack Della Maddalena in the A tier as well. I'm actually going to put him in front of Islam Makhachev, okay? Rampage Jackson. I don't know what Rampage is like looking like these days. I've only seen him sitting down at his podcast. Definitely, if we were talking about Rampage Jackson in his heyday, dude, I would definitely want him by my side. But for now, I'm going to put Rampage Jackson to the B tier. I'm going to put him right behind Dan Ige, okay? Jessica Andrade, probably the best. I'm going to put her behind Amanda Nunes, okay? Yuri Prochazka, yes, sir. We need a Yuri Prochazka. He would just fly at people, looking to take people's heads off. Yeah, we need Yuri Prochazka. He's going to the S tier. Bottom of S tier, though, okay? Joe Anderson Brito, I would also want. One of those, like, really, really, really violent guys. That's Joe Anderson Brito. No matter what he gets hit with, he'd come in. I feel like you would legitimately enjoy beating a bunch of people up. Joe Anderson Brito, also going into the S tier. I'm going to put him... I'm actually going to put Joe Anderson Brito in front of Dustin Poirier, okay? He's more violent than Dustin Poirier, I believe. And I know that I'm going to get the comments on that one. I know. I'm going to hear it. And actually, guys, I'm going to fix my webcam. I'm going to drag it down here just a little bit for the video. I feel like that's probably best, okay? Let's continue on to Joaquin Buckley. He'd be good too, but he doesn't really stand out, okay? I'm going to put him in the C tier. Probably at the top of C tier. That's when I throw Joaquin Buckley. Mighty Mouse, I always like forget that picture of Mighty Mouse exists from Tapology, man. It's such an old picture, okay? Mighty Mouse, though, I'm going to put him, he's unfortunately too small. I hate to say it, but he is the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. I'm going to put him in the C tier, okay? I'm going to put him ahead of Nate Diaz. Now, Gamebred, I definitely want him. I definitely want him when it comes to street fairs, okay? Gamebred, where am I going to throw him, though? And even to this day, I feel like he'd be pretty good. I'm going to throw him right behind Kyle Braujo. Joe Pyfer is somebody that I absolutely want to. Huge, huge power. He has all the anger in the world that he'd want to, like, lash out on people. He'd have no issue coming about and just, like, having a dogfight, okay? Joe Pyfer's going to the S tier. Where am I going to throw Joe Pyfer, though? I'm going to throw him in front of Cowboy. That's where I'm going to put Joe Pyfer, okay? Justin Gaethje also would have no problem swinging when there's a lot of people around. Street fight going crazy. Justin Gaethje would just straight up have fun with it. Although... do I put Justin... yeah, I put Justin Gaethje in the S tier. I'm going to put him at the bottom of S tier, though. Okay, Kai Kara France, a little bit too small, but he's fast. He's powerful. Depending on who's around, Kai Kara France could do a good job. I'm going to put Kai Kara France into the D tier, though. I'm going to put him ahead of Edson Barboza. Kamaru Usman, unfortunately, the knees seem to be gone. That's a little bit of an issue. But Kamaru Usman would still be really tough. He'd be really imposing. He could definitely... I don't mean to be disrespectful. I mean, like, he could win the imposing pushing game, but he can also scrap, right? I'm going to put Kamaru Usman in the B tier. I'm going to put him right behind Anthony Hernandez, okay? Now, Kevin Holland is definitely somebody that I want. Definitely. He'd have fun with it. Long, crispy shots. He can brawl. I'm okay with that. Give me a Kevin Holland on my team. I'm going to put him. But then again, what if Kevin Holland just straight up doesn't care? Treats it like a little bit of a sparring match like we've seen him do. Ooh, that's going to bump him down to A. I was going to put Kevin Holland in S, but I'm going to put him... I'm going to put Kevin Holland right behind Kyle Braujo. Khalil Roundtree Jr. Would he be too nice? I don't know. He would just look at people. I don't respect you, okay? I don't respect you. And then he wouldn't fight. But assuming that these guys fight, I'm going to put Khalil Roundtree in the A tier as well. I'm going to put him right in front of Curtis Blades, okay? Chuck Liddell, too old, too CTE riddled. Chuck Liddell is going to go into the D tier. I'm going to put him right behind Henry Cejudo, okay? Marvin Vettori, I don't feel like, I don't know, like, Marvin Vettori, what would he really do? Like, yeah, he can swing, but does he really stand out compared to these other fighters on the list? I don't think so. I'm going to put him in the C tier. He'd be okay. I'm going to put him right behind Figgy, okay? Macy Barber, I'll also pass on that. I know that list is going to, this isn't going to age too well, right? This isn't going to age too well. I got to do it, though. I got to do it. You know, I'm coming from a place where I don't want to see any girls get hurt. That's the place that I'm coming from, okay, YouTube? That's the place that I'm coming from. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I don't believe we should be dragging any girls into a street fight. So I refuse to rank them. And for that reason, because it's so nice, I'm going to throw her into the F tier, okay, behind Amanda Lemos. Conor McGregor. Assuming that he still can fight, all drugged up, you'd want the dude. You'd want him on your side, eh? You definitely want a Conor McGregor. He'd be down to fight. He probably has a lot of pent-up rage, a lot of anger on his side, too. Conor McGregor is going to go into the S tier. I'm going to put him actually at the bottom of S tier, though. Okay? Michel Pereira. After what we've just seen last weekend, he can take care of one guy, and then he'll run out of steam. So, Michel Pereira, I need you for multiple people. He's got to go in the D tier. Right? He's got to. He has no gas. How can I put him anywhere else? I'm going to put him in front of Chuck Liddell, okay? Need to scroll down just a tad over there. Stipe Miocic. He's definitely still some fight in him. I'm going to put him, and I would want him. He's a big, powerful guy. Arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time. I'm going to put Stipe into the A tier. I'm going to put him right behind Curtis Blades, actually. Okay? Muhammad Usman. Got a little bit of a gas tank issue question, but he also dances on the outside. Still has some power to him. Still a huge guy, though. Could definitely push some people around, okay? Muhammad Usman's going to go into the C tier. I'm going to put him, actually, he is a big, big guy, so I'm going to put him at the top of C tier. Muhammad Mokaev, I'm good. I'm good. He hasn't shown nearly enough striking, okay? He's a fantastic grappler, but I can't have what he does, okay? He's going to go into the D tier. Gegard Mousasi, past his prime, amazing fighter, right? He really is one of the best fighters ever, in my opinion, but he'd be good. He just wouldn't stand out. So I'm going to put Gegard over to the C tier. I'm going to put him actually right in behind Brian Ortega. Nate Landwehr. Ooh, he doesn't really have any pop in his shots, but he could go all day. Nate the Train in the street fight. Like, he'd have no problem just taking on anybody, right? He'd have no problem. I feel like he'd be okay. I'm going to put him at the bottom B tier. Now, Paul Craig, we need to see more striking, man. We need to see more striking. Hands are down. Hands are too weak. I can't do Paul Craig right now. I can't do Paul Craig. I'm a huge, huge fan of Paul Craig, okay? I am. But I can't. He's going to have to go into the D tier. I'm going to put him right in front of Michel Pereira, okay? Petr Yan's mean. If he was bigger, he'd be a lot more imposing. But Petr Yan is mean enough to just keep attacking people over and over and over again. And by the way, guys, I'm speaking as if, like, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not saying that any of these small guys would lose to your average guy in a street fight. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just talking about, like, comparing all of these fighters together of who I would want in a street fight against, like, the general public, okay? Petr Yan would be amazing, but he lacks a little bit of size, and I think that matters when there's multiple people coming at you and comparing you to a bunch of guys over on this list. So I'm going to put Petr Yan at the top of C tier. I'm going to put him actually right behind Joaquin Buckley. And we're going to have Muhammad Usman right there. Chris Curtis would be okay. He'd be okay. He might cry. I don't know what about, but he would figure out something to be upset about, okay? We're going to put Chris Curtis. He'd be okay. He has some okay hands. I'm going to put him right ahead of Clay Guida. Okay, Raquel Pennington. Yeah, what's she going to do? Hold somebody? She's just going to pick one person, hold them in the corner for the entire duration. No, I'm good. You can go behind Amanda Ribas, okay? Robbie Lawler, a little bit older now, man. If this was prime Robbie Lawler, this would be a dude that I would definitely be throwing into the S tier. But Robbie Lawler, as of right now, he's a little bit different. Still got the dog in him, though. He still has it. Just not the fighter that he once was, okay? I'm going to put Robbie Lawler actually in front of Marvin Vettori. That's what I'm going to put Robbie Lawler. And Robert Whittaker, very, very nice guy, but the dude can turn it on. Like, if I need Robert Whittaker by my side, I feel like he could just be vicious, okay? He could be vicious. I'm going to put him right ahead of Gregory Rodriguez. Ronda Rousey, no thanks. Yep, we're going to throw that. And Thug Rose Namajunas, we're going to put right behind Macy Barber, right behind Amanda Ribas. Adesanya, I don't think I would really want in a street fight. He needs his distance. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't really get the vibes that Adesanya would really be too much of a help in that. He needs his own distance. He likes to control the pace. He'd jab, he'd leg kick. But contender is he? But then again, now he is contender is he? That's a different Adesanya. I don't know, man. I'm going to put contender is he at the bottom of B tier. Okay? Sean Strickland. He's crazy enough. But then again, is he just going to be like... Is he going to yap, and then just teep and jab? Like, what would Sean Strickland actually do in a street fight? Would he actually come in and try to take people's heads off? Or would he do like he acts in the UFC? Yeah, I'm going to put on the best show ever. We're going to bleed for you guys, okay? And then he's just going to do nothing. I worry about that. But Sean Strickland's crazy enough that I would want him. But I do worry. So I'm going to put him right behind Cyril Gane. Dricus du Plessis, I would love. Big, powerful guy. Just might make might make everybody cry that I'm going up against. And that's somebody that I would like to have by my side. He's going to go into the A tier. I'm going to put him right ahead of Islam Makhachev. Give me some Dricus du Plessis. Ian Machado, Gary. No, I don't want Ian Gary. He's a great fighter. I think I need to see more like scrappiness from Ian Gary because we haven't really seen too much. He kind of fights his own way. I'm going to put Ian Gary into the C tier. I'm going to put him right in front of Nate Diaz. Michael Chandler, big, powerful. Well, I mean, like, he's a big, small guy. Insanely powerful. Insanely tough. I would want Michael Chandler by my side. I feel like he'd be almost too cool to get into a fight. To get into a street fight. He'd try to talk it out. Or talk about a little bit like having respect for each other. Being better than this. But I do respect that, okay? I'm going to put Michael Chandler into the B tier. I'm going to put him right behind Brandon Royval in front of Robert Whittaker, okay? Sean O'Malley, I don't know how you would do in a street fight, man. I feel like him and his boys might be okay to protect each other, assuming like if I was one of, like I don't necessarily want to be in part of one of those boys, but like I'm thinking, what if we're all like going out together, something happens, would I want Sugar Sean on my side? Yeah, he has the power. I don't know. I don't get that vibe from O'Malley, okay? I'm going to put Sean O'Malley into the C tier. I'm going to put him in front of Ian Gary. Cheeto Vera. Yes, I would want Cheeto Vera. I feel like he'd be violent. Kind of like Joyner Brito, but not necessarily as violent. Cheeto is somebody that I would like to have, though. I'm going to put him into the B tier. He could knock some people out as well. I'm going to put Cheeto Vera right behind Michael Chandler. Right in front of Robert Whittaker, okay? Paulo Costa. I feel like he wouldn't care. He would just laugh. He'd have a little bit more wine. I'm going to put Paulo Costa in the C tier. It's closer to the bottom of the C tier. I'm going to put him right behind Nate Diaz. He would not care at all, okay? Alex Pereira is definitely somebody that I would want. All that knockout power. I feel like he'd back you up, no problem. He'd be scary. He'd make people really intimidated, and that's something that I would definitely want on my side, okay? Alex Pereira is going to go into the S tier. I'm going to put him at the bottom of S tier, though. That's where I'm going to throw Alex Pereira, okay? And, of course, now I need to scroll down a little bit. Sharyl Magomedov. Where are we going to put Sharyl Magomedov? I'm going to put him over here. He's scary enough to scare some people off. We know that he has no problems getting violent with random people in the street for ridiculous reasons, okay? So he is somebody that I absolutely want on my side. Sharyl Magomedov. Honestly, guys, also going to the S tier. I need the violence that Sharyl Magomedov has. I'm going to put him ahead of Alex Pereira a little bit, okay? Chael P. Sonnen. We know that he's down. We know that he's down to have some street fights. We know he's down. We know Chael A-okay with doing that. But Chael is a little bit older now. Chael is a little bit slower, but we do know he's back on whatever he's juicing up with, okay? Chael's going to the B tier. I'm going to put Chael right behind Danny Ige. Now, Stephen One Boy Thompson. He would be a... Hi, Sunny Baby. My puppy just came in to say hi to everybody. You want to rank some fighters? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. What's this one doing? What's this one doing? She wants my attention. I was telling her that I was going to take her out after, and she's been waiting so patiently. She's been waiting so patiently. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? Look at the camera. Look at the camera. There we go. There we go. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl, eh? Who's a good girl? I just spent a few minutes just calming her down because she is expecting to go out. So we're going to finish up this tier list, guys, okay? Wonderboy Thompson. I don't know how I feel about Wonderboy Thompson. He'd be okay. A little bit older now. A little bit slower now. What if somebody drags him to the ground? That's a little bit of a worry, eh? A little bit of a worry. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, though. Wonderboy's going to go into the C tier. A little bit towards the bottom. I'm going to put him behind Paulo Costa, okay? Ilia Topuria, I feel like is mean. I feel like Ilia Topuria would be okay to have by your side. Absolutely. I feel like he'd be taking people's heads off. And he is definitely that I would want to have by my side. Ilia Topuria is going to go over into the A tier. Where are we going to throw Ilia Topuria? I'm going to put him actually right behind Kevin Holland. Who else do we have over here? Vanessa Demopoulos? No. Thank you. We're going to put her right behind Rose Namajunas. And Volkan Oezdemir would be okay. He'd be okay. He's a good striker. He's a big guy. We're going to have lots of mass to him. Volkan Oezdemir is going to go into the B tier. We're going to put him right in head of Anthony Smith over there. And finally, we have Johnny Walker. You don't know what the problem with Johnny Walker is. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. He's powerful. He can knock some people out. But what if somebody just clips him from behind? Is he going to have his lights turned off? For that reason, Johnny Walker is unfortunately going to have to go into the D tier. I'm going to have to put him right behind Kai Kara-France. So this is the official tier list for who I would like to have by my side in a street fight, guys. Let me know what you thought about the tier list. I'm sure that I will have many mixed opinions over there. Thank you so much for being here and watching the video. Why don't you check out this video, guys, if you want to continue watching tier list content and just ranking all of my favorite moments in MMA history. I would love to have you guys over there. Take care, everybody.